Hi there, so this is the second lesson I'm doing for the iBase magazine. I hope you enjoyed the first lesson, which was on melodic development, and this lesson will be on the Phrygian scale. Now again, it's a great privilege to be here with you all, and I really hope you're enjoying all the content here. So what I did not so long ago was post a lesson video on YouTube about the Lydian scale. It was about the F Lydian scale, and what I did is I just showed you some basic fingering patterns, some 1 octave, 2 octave, and then I did an improvisation over a track, and I got some really good solid feedback. And there's one comment that really kind of struck a note with me, and that was that somebody just pointed out that the F Lydian scale has the same notes as the C major scale, which is true. And then he went on to say, you can just kind of use the notes of the C major scale and then you're all good. There's an element of truth to that, and then there's also an element of kind of the easy option or the easy way out. And I just kind of want to point out that it is really important to kind of treat these modes separately, to kind of work on them separately, because the intervallic relationship between each of the notes in these scales really give each of these modes their strong characteristic. The F Lydian has a sharp 11, and that's a very important note for the Lydian scale. So when you're improvising or writing melodies, you want to really kind of bring out that color, bring out that sound. And it's not just a question of playing all the notes that are appropriate. It's just kind of manipulating the scale or the melody to kind of really draw out those strong characteristics, and understanding how the scale works, understanding the different approaches and how to kind of bring out those colors are really important. And it's not just as easy as just blazing over one related scale. You can get away with it more with the Lydian than other modes, and that's kind of what prompted me to do this Phrygian lesson, because the Phrygian scale has a very strong characteristic sound, and you really can't just wing it playing a C major scale if you're using the E Phrygian, that is. So what I want to do is just bring your attention to that and show you a nice chord that's going to kind of work with the Phrygian scale, really bring out that sound, so I can just demonstrate the importance of these different modes. Okay, so again, I'm going to do it in two different ways. I'm going to show you the 1 octave fingering pattern, the 2 octave fingering pattern, and then I'm going to improvise and give you a track so you can download and just play around with it too. Again, thanks for your comments, and please continue sending them. I read them all and I take them all to heart, and I just want to make these lessons really good for you so you can really get something out of it. And one thing I want to point out too is it's not just about understanding the notes and the scale, it's also understanding these other elements that we're looking at, and we're going to look into a little bit more, which is the melodic development. It's good to collect your ideas, keep them all focused, develop them. When you develop them, new ideas will come, and you stay connected with that, and it just keeps growing into a story. It's really important to be aware of what you're playing and why you're playing it. You've got to sell every note that you're doing, because each note's valuable. It's kind of your sound, your character, and you don't want to just waste it by just blazing as fast as you can, just trying to hit the right notes and just hoping for the best. You really want to get this sense of development, articulation, dynamics. You really want to build your own voice and characteristics as a musician. That's what's going to make you stand out, and it's what makes you get hired at the end of the day for what you can bring to the table that's different to the guy next to you. Okay, another important thing is having a solid technique. You don't want to be restricted by anything other than your own imagination, and that's a really important statement I just made, so I'll repeat it. You do not want to be restricted by anything other than your imagination. So really solid technique and knowledge of your instrument and fingerboard is really vital, because you don't want to be kind of stuck thinking where's the next note, or where shall I put my finger, or what am I doing, because you lose that zone and flow, which is what true improvisation is. It's just being in the moment and just conveying ideas that just fly through your mind, just kind of like I'm talking now. I don't know what I'm going to say, I'm just saying it because my brain's kind of in the moment. So that's how I want you to treat the music too. Also, it's important to develop your ears, have a good understanding of ear training so you can really hear these tensions, understand your chord tones so you can approach them in different ways, just make your lines a bit more interesting. And all of this stuff combined really brings in the other musicians, so everyone can interact together, and then also it engages the audience and keeps their attention. So in the Tony Gray Bass Academy, I do look on all of these different subjects and just try to give you a really solid practice schedule so you can develop different things at the same time, and then hopefully they all come together to create your own personal voice as a musician. All right, it's all of these different things combined. So what this lesson is, I'm just basically introducing you to the Phrygian scale, pointing out the importance of all these different characteristics within the scale, and then I'm just going to improvise just using a combination of all these different concepts that I've learned and that I teach. And again, we'll get into them a little bit later, or if you want to join us in the Tony Gray Bass Academy, you're more than welcome, and we're going to have a lot of fun in there. So what I'm going to do now is play you a related chord to the Phrygian scale. I'm going to tell you what those notes are, play it, play the scale over it so you can really kind of get into the sound of it a little bit. So the first note I'm using is the F, which is the flattened 9. Then I'm going to use an A and a B, which is 11, tension 11, or the 4th degree, and then B, which is the 5th. So it's F, A, B, and then a D and an E, which is flat 7 and the root. So if I play all these notes together, you'll hear a nice cluster. Now if I play an E on top of that, it really brings out a really sinister, kind of dark, very intriguing sound. You know, it doesn't sound anything like a C major chord or a C major scale would work over it. But again, we're using the same notes. So here's the E Phrygian scale over it. Has a very Spanish kind of feel to it. And one of the really good approaches is this flattened 7th is D, F to E. Or this C to B. You know, so again, it's really important to understand these half-step relationships so you can kind of really approach these notes and really bring out the character of the scale. So what I'm going to do now is show you a 1-octave fingering pattern. It's all in one vertical position here. We start on the 7th fret of the A string with our first finger. So it's 1, 2, 4, 7th fret, 8th fret, 10th fret, E, F, G, 1, 2, 4. Move on to the D string and play the fingering pattern 1, 3, 4. So it's 7th fret, 9th fret, and 10th fret. That's A, B, C. From the top, 1, 2, 4, A string, 1, 3, 4, D string. And then move up to the G string and play 1, 3, which is 7th fret and 9th fret. Okay, a 2-octave fingering pattern now. Again, we start in the same place, 7th fret of the A string, 1, 2, 4. Now instead of moving to the D string, we're going to continue up the A string and we're going to do our first positional shift. So it's 4th finger, 10th fret, to 1st finger, 12th fret of the A string. So it's 4, 10, 1, 12, G, A. And continue up the scale from here. So it's 1, 3, 4. Now move up to the D string, 12th fret, 1st finger, 1. Now we're going to slide up 2 frets with our 1st finger to get from that D to E. 12th fret, 14th fret. So from the top, 1, 2, 4. Position shift, 1, 3, 4. D string 1, position shift 1, 2, 4. Now position shift again from your 17th fret of the D string with the 4th finger to the 1st finger on the 19th fret. So we're moving up 2 frets there, G to A. 4th finger, 1st finger. 4, 1, 3, 4. And then finish the scale off on the G string, 1, 3. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. Now descending, I'm using a different fingering pattern. Again, I just want to point out that when I'm ascending, I'm kind of moving up, sliding my 1st finger, just so I always have these 3 fingers ahead of me, and this avoids me kind of playing vertical, then just sliding up the G string on the 4th finger, which is what I see a lot and these position shifts really should develop a different kind of habit for you to kind of break away from that. Everything just kind of lands and ends up perfectly, you know. It's no real effort for me to kind of move around. It's just a bit of practice to kind of really zone in on these different fingering patterns. So descending, different pattern, 3-1. Now the D string in position, 4-3-1. Now position shift, so we'll go from this first finger, 19th fret, A, to 17th fret, 4th finger. So it's 1, down 2 frets, D string, 4, 1, 4. Continue down, 4, 2, 1. Now position shift again. So your first finger, 14th fret of the D string, to 4th finger, 12th fret of the D string. Continue down again, 4, 2, 1. Now move down to your A string, 4th finger, 12th fret, 4, 4, so 12 to 10, 4th finger, and then finish the scale 2, 1. 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 4, 2, 1. Okay, there's your 2-octave fingering pattern. And you know, you should really practice this without stopping, like 3 to 5 times. If you can play along with a sustained drone, then perfect. You know, you can really get into the characteristic of the scale, which is going to improve your ears and make you itching to go to start improvising. But stay focused, play through it perfectly 3 to 5 times at a very slow tempo, and just kind of build the increments up on the metronome by small amounts, like 2 up to 5 beats per minute. And just continue 4 or 5 times or 3 to 5 times without making any mistakes, without stopping as well, and then just building up the tempo. And what this does is just really reinforces the fingering pattern, helps you memorize it, helps it get into your instinctive way of playing. You're not going to be restricted to that fingering pattern, but what it does is it teaches you kind of how to move instinctively around your instrument, where to the point where you're not really thinking about it. Okay, so now let's move on to the improvisation, and then we'll see you in the next lesson.